Welcome back to India Tonight. We're discussing President Obama and the fear, the hint of protectionism. Is that what's in the air? Mr. Mittal, your colleague Amit Nivsarkar, Vice President of NASSCOM, has gone on record to several newspapers over the weekend that he fears there may be an indirect protectionism that is emerging from the United States. You've mentioned already that Obama has spoken in these semi-apocalyptic terms at least once before when he was a candidate. Do you share Mr. Nivsarkar's concern?
So let me put this in perspective. You know, I read the speech that President Obama had released before he spoke. This particular statement wasn't in his script. He added that when he actually delivered this speech because that was something he had said before. So I think it is one of many things he talked about. Second, I think he's spoken about doubling up his exports. And when he does this doubling up of exports, it can't happen by protecting US on one side because it will always be done by protectionist tendencies coming from other countries. I think what Amit mentioned, and we all know that there are ways of stopping things like movement of people. In our industry, movement of people, both sides, is very important. And there have been attempts from the House against that. But President Obama and Dr. Manmohan Singh, in their joint communique just in November, both committed that free flow of professionals, both ways, should be allowed and unhindered. So I don't think even that indirect protectionism can come in. We need to all the time be alert about it, though.
Mr. Rao, you heard at the end of part one Mr. Apte say that it might be wise for NASSCOM to send another delegation to lobby, or if not to lobby, at least to better understand. Do you think that the present situation...
I think we have to keep the dialogue going always. I think it is important to understand that there are multiple constituencies in the United States. There is the executive branch, there is the Congress, there is the press, there are corporations. And we need to keep the dialogue going with all of them, showing that these are win-win relationships. These are not win-lose relationships. And as long as we get that story across, I think we will be able to successfully keep this Frankenstein of protectionism at bay.
In other words, you're saying that the onus of keeping the dialogue going, and that's perhaps a euphemism for lobbying, is really on the Indian IT BPO industry, that we must take the initiative, get to Washington and start talking.
Well, we must do our bit, but I think US corporations will also do their bit.
Mr. Roy, to what extent do you have concerns that visas for professionals could actually be the area where we see the hit?
Yeah, well, I think there will be rebalancing of the skill set that is needed.
Does rebalancing of the skill set mean reduction of visas?
It could be reduction if kids join the engineering colleges. If you go into the engineering colleges and look at the number of locals who will remain there after the courses are over, there is not just a decline, a dramatic decline. Now, if you need that resource base, and in his acceptance speech for the presidency, what President Obama said is, the world has become a global village. I don't remember the exact words, but he said talent will flow from one place to the other.
Isn't that usually rhetoric? Presidents very rarely, when they've got economic crisis, behave as if it is a village. They see themselves as the center of the world.
When they say something that can be favorable, it becomes rhetoric. But when they say anything to starting with O, even if it is not offshoring, it is negative towards India. We need to be balanced in our view how we look at things.
That's a very fair point. We need to be as balanced as we're hoping that Obama will be balanced. Mr. Apte, back to you as an analyst. Let me put to you a scenario that is undoubtedly speculative, but it's by no means impossible, leave aside unfeasible. What if Obama's economy doesn't revive? What if unemployment remains stubbornly at 10 or thereabouts %? What if as a result the Democrat fortunes continue to slide and they end up in November doing much worse or as worse as they fear? In those circumstances, might he begin to take the protectionist steps which at the moment we all believe he's resisting?
I'll make one statement and then I'll explain what I'm saying. In that situation, the offshoring will go underground, won't face backlash. Let me explain what I mean by that. There is a skills mismatch. As Raman was saying, the IT professionals available in the United States are very less in number to do the jobs that have come to India from cities and JP Morgan Chase of the world. So it's a question for those companies to continue the work and serve their clients. I believe that next, maybe few years down the line, we will not talk about cost saving from offshore, but possibly, availability of resources will be the bigger driver. And even if any stringent laws or the situation that you are painting happens, the companies will still offshore and possibly will not talk about it. I'll give one simple example. Last week, I was writing a case study on a very large high-tech company, Fortune 50 brand, leveraging India for its product development. And 2 days back, on Friday evening, this company called me and said that please don't publish case study after approving the draft initially. So I asked them, are you not using this Bangalore-based top 3 Indian company anymore for your product development? Answer to that, no, we will continue and possibly will expand, but we don't want to talk about it.
All
so
right.
I think, if the situation you're painting happens, then offshore will go underground, not take a backlash.
Well, let me put it like this. You may be seeing a cloud, but equally clearly, you're seeing the silver lining. When things go underground, they usually end up creating a situation that Indians, more than anyone else, knows how to handle best of all. That is, in fact, our real talent. My thanks, Mr. Roy, for coming here to studio. My thanks also to Soumitra, Jerry Rao, and Sudhin Apte for joining me from their respective offices. And if you have been, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Good night.